Electricity is palpable here at the PUBG Mobile Fall Split South Asia Regional Finals, and we're going to see at the end of the day the 5 teams get through and represent this region in the global final.
I want to ask the people in Delhi right now, the energy is just insane.
The first game started on a wrangle, and already the Circle's demands were too high to be met. It moved awkwardly towards the bottom west half of the military base, and some teams had to take risky bridge fights to get down there. Some got boats, and a few brave ones even tried to swim past it in vain. Iconic from Entity Brawlers got knocked out early as he was trying to cross the bridge in his car, but somehow he wasn't finished off. Reviving him and having a full 4-man squad was so helpful to them later in the game. SouL and Mayhem started fighting when the Circle was way beyond any of them. Both the teams died outside the zone, while Mortal did manage to pick up a few kills. In the top 5 teams, Fnatic were caught off guard as Megastars rolled in and ran over one of them with a jeep and killed Scout while he was trying to revive him.
Brawlers versus INS, and here we go. It's going to be Dark inside the vehicle, tries to get the run over, doesn't quite land, and it seems like he went through his teeth, and instead he's inside the blue zone taking so much damage, and he may actually perish. Oh, here it comes then, the crescendo, what we were waiting for is Joker with 1! But that's going to be it, ETG Brawlers take it, exactly when they need the chip.
INS had a great showing, but in the end, Entity Brawlers won the game thanks to the numbers advantage that they were granted early in the game, not having finished off Iconic. Sandhawk was a typical late-game chaos kind of match. As usual, a lot of players were alive by the end of the 4th circle, which resided over Painan. Close combat assaults thrived all over in the little town, and things got even more exciting as the Circle moved north, forcing all the teams to battle each other and the zone at the same time. Mortal, being the last player alive for SouL, took a risky decision to stay outside the zone and have a heal off while the other teams massacred each other. His perseverance allowed SouL to finish 3rd and grab 10 points.
The zone still coming in, forcing the hand in from Megastars as another player goes down. Abby is out of the picture. Kratos going to be finishing this one off here as well as Slayer comes over the top. It's all really down to final boss. And in a 1 versus 3, gets 1, goes for more! Can't quite do it. Team IND take it on Sandhawk.
The last battle between Megastars and IND was supposed to go in the favor of Megastars, that they had the man advantage. But they stayed prone in the grass being passive, whereas IND picked up the pace and all stood up, went in straight for a shootout to win the game. The last game on the desert map in this qualifier was proof that anything can happen in this game if your coordination is strong enough. Several teams fell to silly mistakes. Fnatic picked up a fight with RIP Official, but then as soon as one of them went down, Fnatic started reviving their teammates in the middle of the fight, which led to even more confusion. And then, when they were just down to Paradosh, they tried to run away, but they were killed by another team. The funny thing is, even after RIP managed to do a lot of damage, they got eliminated because they did not revive in time against the advancing blue zone and died outside the zone. SouL had a pretty good compound in the same game. While SouL did manage to pick up a lot of kills in that compound, they made a mistake of engaging into battles too quickly rather than letting other teams fight it out. At the time, they were caught out in the open with very little cover. SynerGE pushed Elementrix's compound to snatch it away, which is what SouL also wanted to do, but indecisiveness led to their demise.
Incredible play there from him as SynerGE now take out another player from 0 Degree. We're into 2 versus 2. Major Alpha is down. It's basically just a 1 versus 1. And while he's going to be healing up, he's going to go down. It's going to be the win for SynerGE again. Wait, what? 0 Degree?
0 Degree made a mini compound by putting together a few cars and blowing them up to use them as cover. This quick thinking and brilliant execution led to 0 Degree winning the chicken dinner. Game number 16, that means the 4th game of the finals day, shows us why exactly PUBG is a cruel game. The Circle bamboozled everyone. The playing path was west to east, low and hugging close to the military base to the south, but the Circle moved all the way up, covering Kameshki and Severny. One of the first teams to take advantage of that northern circle was INS. They got control of the 3-story building compound to the north of the river, but they split up 2-2. So when RIP attacked them, the split meant that they couldn't cover each other outside, and then the last 2 players inside the buildings were taken out by a barrage of grenades. The 4th circle, however, had some plans of its own. After most of the teams made a difficult rotation to the north of the river, the circle bamboozled them all once again and moved to the south of the river, and then most teams were in trouble, as there are only 3 small bridges to cross and 2 of them were heavily guarded at the mouth of Rozhok. In an interesting turn of events, Team RIP and Entity Brawlers took cover of the same bridge but on the other side, peacefully and comically existing for some time, with IND's player playing hide and seek under the water. Team SouL somehow managed to make a risky rotation towards the gas pump outside of Yasnaya and dished out plenty of damage from there to secure some points. But the teams coming in from Rozhok were in a lot of trouble as all the opponents had their eyes on them. 0 Degree kicked Fnatic out and did not even allow them to enter the last circle, but unfortunately 0 Degree 2 did not last much longer. In the last circle, when there's hardly any cover, the game turned into a crawl fest as prone battles determined the fate of the game.
But still, he's just...
It's Mayhem who will save him! And now it's 1 versus 4. They cannot get it done. Mayhem come through. The chicken dinner is theirs for the taking.
Amidst all the chaos, Mayhem emerged victorious. The penultimate game on Vikendi was super slow as the plane flew west to east from the bottom half of the map and the circle hugged the south coast. Most of the games we saw teams rushing in and taking compounds without getting into a lot of fights. We did see some long-range sniper shots from compound to compound, but the actual game began only after the 6th circle when there were more than 50 people alive in such a small play zone. Winery turned into a war zone as bullets blazed across the hills and teams went into a free-for-all frenzy, fighting everyone chaotically. Kudos to Iconic from Entity Brawlers, who saved his team from certain elimination on 2 separate occasions. His teammates were knocked down and he saved the day as the last man twice. At the very end, there were only 2 teams left, Entity versus IND in a 4 versus 4 scenario for the chicken dinner, and Entity played that to perfection with brain games.
Smart. They know that they can't push out, and now they have the off angle. Jonathan and Oman trying to play pincer, but Oman takes some fire behind the tree at the moment. He's going to be looking to try and stop them from peeking out of the shack, but Kratos is there on the close angle, on the off. Gatak needs to lead his team to victory here. It'd be a great way to try and secure themselves as one of the 2 direct spots.
Can the Puppet Master pull the strings and make this one happen?
One down.
Down goes Kratos. Aman looking to make this one work, John.
Goes in, another down, IND suffering, and it's Entity to take it home. Huge kill game. This is what we wanted to see. They are back in force.
They surrounded IND in every direction, and then they sent Aman with a car behind them to serve as a massive distraction, as Entity take the chicken dinner with 17 kills, making a huge total of 37 points taken in this game. Even though IND finished second, they were behind SynerGE as they managed to get 8 kills and overtake them to the 2nd spot of the game standings. The final game of the day and everything was at stake. Qualification and Prelim spots. The plane flew from Severny to Novo and the final battles took place on the foothills of Mount Everest. We saw Fnatic make a roster change in the last game, getting In Your Dream to play instead of Ronak. A change in their strategy as well. They usually go to the military base, but this time, Fnatic dropped in Rozhok and tried to get as many kills as possible, but the difference was too big to be covered. On a disappointing note, Fnatic did not have a strong performance, and they need to address a lot of internal issues in order to become a top-tier team. Surprisingly, in the last game of the day, all the top teams got knocked out first. SouL, Entity, SynerGE got eliminated really early in the last game, but they had plenty of kill points, so they are safe.
Oh, the adrenaline's on the side of INS right now. Can they qualify, John?
The bell rings out and it's tolling INS. And it's going to be 1 player now as they continue their push. Joker through the smoke, looking out wide, looking for the red line. He goes up and he goes down. INS claim the victory. They see themselves through.
This was the golden moment. Now that the top teams are gone, INS needed to grab this opportunity, and they did so by winning the chicken dinner and getting just barely enough points to tip themselves into the top 5 and earn a Prelim spot.
Taking home the trophy, it's Entity Gaming!
Entity Gaming, throughout the finals, have had an amazing performance with 3 chicken dinners and 92 kills. They won the South Asian qualifiers of PMCO. They win $60,000, along with the spot at the global finals. SouL came in second, and while they did not have any chicken dinner wins, they have been super consistent and they are leading in the kills department with 93 frags, highest of them all. With kills and consistency, they will be the second Indian representative at the PMCO Global Finals, and they will be going to the international stage for the second time. 5 teams from India up against the rest of the world. The road to Kuala Lumpur has begun.